All right, everyone, if you can find your seats, we are going to start the very last thing that stands between you and a cocktail. With that in mind, my name is Meredith Bogus, and among other things, I'm part of the team that helps plan this conference. And as any conference planner will tell you, there are always way more sessions that we want to host than there is room for on any agenda. Which is why even before our welcoming reception even starts, this is probably your second breakout. So we waste not a moment here at Bank, and judging by the attendance in this room, we were right to think that several of you would be interested in the marketing tools and resources available to you as a client of our firm. Hands down, the best thing that has come out of the merger between BAM and Loring Ward is the incredibly combined resources. We brought different skill sets and talents and experiences and teams to the table and have turned them into one to the benefit of you. And what we'd like to spend the next hour talking about, my colleague and friend Ivan Abishan and John Avila, is that very thing. What are the tools available to you, and how can we make your lives easier when it comes to marketing your message, your brand, and your value to your clients? So without any further ado, I welcome Ivan Abishan.
Thank you so much, Meredith, for the good setup that I am the only thing standing between you and a drink at the end of the day. So I hope you can stick with me. I'm really excited about this session. I can tell you that when Meredith asked me to stand up here and talk with you guys about marketing, I couldn't be more excited. One, because marketing is in my blood. I love doing this. I love talking to advisors and helping them market their practice. And two, there is an overwhelming acceptance of marketing into this session, and I'm so excited to be able to share everything we have in store for you. So I'm going to start with just a quick overview of how I came to BAM and a little bit of my professional history. So I started out my professional career in a different field, the field of video production. And I learned a lot there. I learned a lot about the technical aspects of taking a video and creating a story. And I found that the thing that I liked the most was working with different types of individuals and learning their stories. And I think that really translates well into marketing, because we all have a story to tell, and all of our stories are unique. And what we want to do is empower you with those pieces of collateral that can help you tell your story in the best way, and that can bring clients into the door, because that's the goal at the end of the day. I'm going to let John take over really quickly, give a brief introduction about his professional experience, and then we'll jump right into the presentation.
All right, thanks, Ivan. And really, Ivan's name should be on that instead of me and Ivan. He's done most of the work, but I've been lucky in the last few months to come into a team that's being combined between the St. Louis and the San Jose offices, filled with a slew of talented people dedicated to providing you all with the tools, the technology, not only to make your jobs easier, but also to help with your marketing. What we have today to go through is really the tip of the iceberg of what we envision rolling out over 2020. I think you'll walk out of here at least with a short list of things you can do starting after this conference to give yourselves easier access to phenomenal materials. We're marching on providing not only new services to you, but an integrated experience from a brand standpoint as well, so we can leverage the best that both organizations have to offer. And let's dive into it, Ivan.
It's amazing. Thank you, John.
I'll have this for any questions as we go through this. Just raise your hand and I'll
Thank you.
All right.
So I have to say, I think we have some real momentum behind this team, and I hope everybody in the room is so excited to hear about what we can offer you. And one of my goals with this presentation is for you, every single one of you, to be able to at least take away one thing that you're not doing for your firm, and we want to help you implement that. So that's my goal. I hope I hit it. So the first thing we're going to cover is the amount of resources you now have available with your integrated marketing team. There's a lot of things up on screen right there, and I'll go quickly through each one of them, but for the balance of our time, we're really going to focus on those things that we get the most questions from advisors on. So let's dive in. We'll start with niche development. Niche development is a really cool area that we started to focus on, in that you, as you develop your firm, you start to recognize some clients that are specific to a niche, and you want to start making marketing materials that are specific to that client so that when they're searching you on Google, when they're hearing about you from friends, that they can really dive in and they can see that you're the advisor that's going to answer that question for them. Digital strategy and tools. This is a huge, very broad category, but I think it's one that we really need to touch on, and it's one of the ones that I think I get the most questions from advisors on. So that's what we're going to really talk about, and specifically we're going to talk about websites and how you can start to market yourself through the digital presence and start to make a name for yourself out there in the world. Content marketing, another very, very big topic that I get questions on, and something that we've developed in-house, but one thing that we really want to release to you as advisors. I see some people in the audience that also support content marketing, and we can help get you connected with them as well. Collateral design. We have our design team in the house, actually. I won't call them out by name, but I think good design speaks for itself, and something that we inherited with the partnership with Loring Ward is a 5-star, Class A design team that's really going to help design things that separate us from the norm of financial services, that boring brochure, and really add a little bit of an element of surprise to the things that we're sharing with our clients that they're not used to seeing from other advisors out there in the industry. COI outreach, this is a big one, one that I get questions on. We won't totally cover today, but we will cover a little bit in that there are a lot of firms in this room that have built their business on using those centers of influence to bring in clients either through a CPA firm or through an attorney practice or anything else, helping us build that holistic wealth planning universe. So we have a lot of tools and services that can help you support that COI outreach and make sure that you're getting connected with the right clients, the right centers of influence. And then finally, client education. This is a big one. This is one that you guys spend all of your time on. It's educating clients and making sure that they have the tools and the knowledge that they need to be able to weather these market changes, especially some of the ones we've seen lately. So we're going to talk a lot about client education, website design and development, and content marketing. But I want you to know that everything on this slide, our team can be supportive in that process. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask us questions. That's what we're here to do. So let's get right into digital marketing strategy. This is something that I've focused a lot of my time on, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. I really think that we can build exceptional digital experiences for our clients, and this is the place that they are accessing and learning about your firms for the first time. A recent study showed that 74% of clients do online research before ever reaching out to the advisor. So those values that you can add by talking with the client and knowing them on a personal basis, we need to be able to translate that to those online forums where they can learn a little bit more about you and your firm and ultimately make the choice to call you. Because at the end of the day, clients aren't necessarily going to call you right off the bat. Some of them will. Some of them will come from referrals, but we need to make sure that your online presences are conveying the exact same message that we see in your office. And I also want to mention the benchmarking study with Dimensional. One of the major pain points was marketing strategy. So we want our team, Tom and Megan and John and others, we want to be available for you to help you start to sort out that strategy and design tools and services for you that are going to get you there. So let's go into the digital marketing, and these are some of the high-level areas that I'm going to touch on. One is our partnership with Advisor Websites. Some of you in the audience may have heard about Advisor Websites or already partnered with them through the BAM experience. But what we're doing with the combination of both entities is that we are working to create an experience that's customized for you through a templated website that includes all of the thinking that our practice management teams, our investment strategy teams, our client experience teams have put in the legwork on. And we're going to create that so you can utilize that and build off it. That'll materialize in a website that you can either use as is, you can pull pieces from it to design your own website, build your own website up. But we're focusing really on those user experiences and making sure that our clients are having the best experience on our site, because at the end of the day, a client may choose or not choose you based on the experience they have on your website. Next is the best practices in education. We know that you don't always have time to be abreast of the trends going on in the industry. So what I like to consider our team as is lifelong learners. We keep our heads down and we stay in tune to all of the best practices that are happening out there in the industry, whether it's user experience or finding new ways for clients to schedule time with you on your website, or making sure our interactive experiences are unique. And we're sharing those with you through some guides and education through either webcasts, things online, and those are currently being developed, but I did want to bring you into the loop on that and would welcome any of your feedback on any successes you've had in that space, and we would love to talk with you about them. And lastly is industry due diligence. I'm going to pick on Megan, who's sitting in the front row. I see her right now. She has a session that I think you should all attend, which is looking at the competition. And this is what we're doing. We're looking at what's happening in the industry. We're looking at what the competition's doing. We're looking at how well or not well they're doing it. And we're starting to develop our brand through that lens. And we're trying to make sure that, you know, we're doing the things that the big wirehouses are doing, but we're doing them a little bit better. So let's dive in. This is, hold on, okay, sorry. So this is our partnership with Advisor Websites. You see the BAM Alliance branding on that. That will change as we continue to refocus our branding. But I did want to touch on a few top level pieces that you see on this slide and how Advisor Websites is helping to support you. So built-in content marketing engine. We're working with them to import all of the content and all of the thought leadership we have in our community into their engine so they can spit that out for you. They also have a built-in scheduling tool, so it can all be within your website. You can take maybe a couple hours at the beginning of the week, a couple hours at the beginning of the month, schedule out a content calendar, and then you have a presence online, but you don't necessarily have to spend your time thinking about it every day. Time savings, they are incredible with Advisor Websites. They help you save time by working with you to create incredible experiences through that scheduling tool, through the content marketing engine, and making sure that you're spending more time with your clients and less time on your website. And then customer support, staying compliant, staying compliant, this is a huge one. They have a built-in compliance review process, so you can hook in directly to your compliance officer. If you're a broker-dealer, you can hook in directly to them. Anytime that you make a change to your website, it can be sent to them for review through your website, so you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to think about sending that extra email. It's all built into the system. And then the last thing I kind of mentioned just prematurely was stellar customer support. And this is where we're really going to find a lot of great usage out of Advisor Websites because their customer support is 24/7. They have a huge team there. We've partnered with website providers that had a smaller team, maybe a more boutique offering. Advisor Websites has a giant team. They're able to be there for you, and they can make sure that you have everything you need to keep your website running and make sure that it's doing everything it needs to do for you. Next, we're going to look at some of the templates. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we're designing a template for you to use that has a lot of our content in it. But just know that there are other places, other frameworks that you can use. You can borrow from that content we're producing, and you can create a site that's unique to you, that you feel good about, that makes you feel like you can really communicate with your clients. So there are other frameworks out there, and we're developing one, and we're going to release it very soon. Again, with the size of our network, we have the ability to really leverage pricing here. And what we've done is we've gotten Advisor Websites to take their pricing down at most of 30% off the retail price to make sure that being a partner within our community is giving you some of those benefits, and one of those materializes in pricing. If you're just starting out, we think you should start with either the lower or the middle, because they also have great add-ins, but they don't hold you to the same, I have to make sure I'm doing this for my website, and I have to make sure I'm doing quarterly reviews, which you should do, but a lot of times if you're just starting out, you're just creating a website for your firm, you need to play with it. You need to see how your clients are interacting with it. You need to see how it's working for you. You need to look at the data, and you need to make sure that you are creating a user experience that's going to be useful to those users accessing your site. So that Tycoon package, that can be for the more experienced advisor that's had a couple websites, that know what works, that know what needs to change. So those are your different package options. And then finally, I want to talk about some of the add-ons that Advisor Websites has added just recently. Some things like SEO, content refresh, logo design. These are things that advisors do need to think about, but again, unless you're planning on hiring a full-service marketing firm, it may be hard just to go and get these a la carte. So Advisor Websites offers them for low fees if you're partnered on their platform, and they can really help give your website a boost that maybe it didn't have in the past. So I wanted to touch a little bit on those best practices in education. Again, we're creating these guides that are going to help you through the process of creating a website, creating a Google business listing, which is huge, and the way that most consumers are accessing professional services right off the bat. We're also going to provide education in the form of webcasts and white papers that will give you a deep look into different digital marketing avenues that maybe you weren't thinking about, or maybe something that you said, I don't know, I can't dive too far into that, I don't have a technical person on staff. So this will really help you start to conceptualize a lot of those offerings, and then again, we're always looking for how we can improve the education and best practices to make sure that they're hitting all the marks for you. Industry due diligence, again, I just want to touch on this. We are looking across the industry. We are making sure our websites reflect all of the great things or not great things that the bigger wirehouses are doing, and we've seen a lot of trends come out of that. You'll see a lot of it in Megan's presentation, but I just want to let you know that our team is head down thinking about this, and we're using that to help you increase a better user experience for your website. Next is content marketing. Content marketing is huge. Let me go back here before I get into that quote. So content marketing is something that we focused on for the entire time I've been here, and we've always had this thought leadership program that was led by Larry Swedroe and Tim Maurer and others, and while that's not going away, we've actually started to think a little bit more strategically about it. We've started to put our head down and think, okay, what are clients asking for in the industry? Or maybe do we not focus so much on that investment strategy related, and we get more to the top of the pyramid, again, that you're going to hear about later, which is the holistic planning. Those places that you add value that are beyond just the numbers. And we think a lot of clients are kind of gravitating towards firms that do that. So again, thought leadership strategy, every company you work with, you want to work with the best, right? So the way that we can leverage that is to create a thought leadership strategy that shows the depth and breadth of our community, so that those out there Googling advisors or looking for advice on a certain topic, your firm will bubble up to the top. They'll see your current thinking on it, and then they'll be able to choose your firm based off that. Another benefit of a good content marketing strategy is just building trust. You're building trust with those clients and those centers of influence out there in the world, that you do know what you're talking about, and you do have a good handle on where the market's going and how you can think about it. So you can build trust through that. You can also enhance the onboarding process, because a lot of times maybe you'll get a referral and you'll send them an email to get in touch with you, but wouldn't it be great if you could send them a newsletter, or send them an article, or send them a video talking about one of the value-add services that you provide? Would that get them to a place where they're saying, I've never heard this from an advisor, or I'm hearing something that maybe I've never heard from anybody, and I really, really want to work with this person? So that helps build that trust. So now we're going to look at the quote, and there's a couple words I'd like to take out of this quote as we start to break it down. So the first is strategic, and that means that we are truly taking a strategic approach to our content marketing. We're not just creating things that we think are important. We're creating things that we're looking at data and it's telling us that they're important. It's telling us that people are searching it. We're looking deep into our analytics and how people are interacting with our website. And we're creating content based on that. We've started to elevate a group of content specialists within the company that are going to write on those specialty areas like insurance planning, legacy planning, sending your child to college. There's a lot of things out there that are beyond what you would expect from a traditional financial advisor that we're trying to tap into so that we are bubbling up and we are separating ourselves from the competition to truly make and help them make an informed choice on who their advisor is going to be. Valuable and relevant, we are leaning into this very hard because I think as things happen in the world and markets move, we need to be very strategic about how we message that and how we talk to people, because a lot of times our clients are coming to us only when the markets are going down, and we need to make sure that we're in front of them all of the time, and we're consistently talking about the long-term strategy, and we're making sure that we're leaning hard into the way that we landed the client in the first place. And then clearly defined audience. This is a big one, and this is one that our team has been working on a ton over the past 6 months. So clearly defining your audience. In the past, you used to just be able to send an update out on social media, a couple of your friends would like it, some would share it, and you would get this huge engagement boost. Everybody would be seeing your content. Well, social media kind of changed the game on us and said, you need to start boosting your content. You need to start making sure that your content is going to the right audience. So what we're doing is we're putting together a plan that helps you as the advisor start to sort out those demographics, identify those niche audiences, and then communicate directly to them. Because at the end of the day, we want to be talking to those interested parties. A lot of times it just goes out into the ether if we're not being strategic about how we're doing that. So let's dig a little bit more into social media and talk about a tool that we've put in place to help advisors beyond the advisor website's experience. So say you have a website, your friend did it, you have a buddy in the graphic design firm, you're not on the advisor website's platform, but you're still looking for ways that you can control your social media presence, schedule it out, you don't want to be taking a whole lot of time on it. So we have a partnership with a firm called PowerPost here in St. Louis. They were previously evolutionized. Some of the legacy firms in the room may know about this firm. They did some websites. There still are some out there. So they are a digital marketing, content marketing, lead generation, social media powerhouse that has helped us grow our thinking in terms of how we're going to utilize this for advisors and really save their time. I was actually involved in the creation of the tool and how we customize it for our community. So if you see up on screen here, this is an example of the shared stream, which takes a feed directly from the BAM website, soon to be, the combined website. It's going to take a feed of that content and it puts it in here. Easy for you to access online, easy for you to share. All you really do is add it to your shared. You connect your social media channels through there ahead of time. It comes in there. You can add it to your social media and you can schedule it out directly through the tool. Another couple great innovations of this tool are that it has the analytics built in, and it has a very powerful tool that's called Power IQ that actually lets you search a term, see how it's trending in the industry, so you can base how you're going to be sharing your content. It comes at a small price, but I think the price is worth it because there are tools out there like Hootsuite and Buffer which do similar things, but again, not customized to our community, and they don't have some of those additional analytic add-ins that you see with PowerPost. Here's an example of the post going in. Another great thing is that our team internally populates it with these what we call teaser sentences. So these are just sentences that distill the post down into the fewest words possible, something that's going to grab your attention. The photo is actually a big part of it too. That's included. Things that will stop thumbs as they're scrolling through Facebook is something that we're trying to focus on, and we're actually experimenting with a couple different ways we can do that. But all of that comes pre-populated. So really, you find the content you like, you move it to your posts, and then you schedule it out. You can do this for months and months in advance. So it's a very diverse library. You can search through it. And if you have any questions about it, you can just reach out to the marketing communications team, and we will help you get connected with their account representative. We're actually having a webcast on this on November 6th. So if you're interested, it's going to be in the bulletins coming out here soon. And they can give you a full overview of the tool and how to use it and how to best leverage it. So now we're getting into the newsletters. It's like I set this thing up. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the newsletters that we send out, and we've found that a standard marketing opportunity is sending a newsletter. We connect with our clients directly through newsletters since social media has kind of become a little bit more starting to target. We find that the best way to get in front of our clients and our prospective clients is to send newsletters. So I'm going to show you the complete lineup of newsletters we have, but with the combined entities, we're actually combining those newsletters and letting those best opportunities bubble up to the top so we can create the best content for you and your advisors. So these are both internal. These are both going to be where you find out all the news of everything that's going on. The webcast will be in there, new brochures, presentations, client-ready materials. This is going to be the distillation of everything that our team puts out and other teams to make sure that you are in the know about everything that's going on in the organization, essentially. So both of these, if you're not on them, let us know and we will get you signed up. They also have had a refresh. Again, I'm going to harp on the design team. They've had a refresh. They look great, and we really, really enjoy it. The next one, these are going to be start getting into some of your client-focused newsletters. We have In Focus and we have Financial Insights. In Focus, these are both monthly. In Focus is lifestyle-based. It's going to focus on some of those things like you see living your legacy that you don't necessarily hear from a financial advisor. Sometimes you just hear about what the market's doing or how it affects your portfolio, which are all very important, but I think we're going to attract a different kind of audience with this, and we've seen really, really great adoption rates. So the Financial Insights, again, you can customize. I forgot to mention, you see Buckingham up there. This is just an example. You can customize this for you and your firm. We have a partnership through Constant Contact, but if you don't use Constant Contact, we make this available to use through any email service provider you use. We put it in a form that you can easily place into their templates, and then you can get going that way. So don't feel like you need to sign up for Constant Contact to get this. It's on our internal networks as well. So again, with Financial Insights, you can customize it, you can email it to your clients. It's going to have some of that high-level information, and really it's just a great message from an advisor and a touch point that you can really lean into every month, because we think it's not a problem to send more than one newsletter a month, especially if you have very important information to send to your clients, but we found that one newsletter a month seems to be the right balance so they don't feel like they're being overwhelmed with communications from you. Investor letter, this is a great one. This is something that we've actually inherited from the partnership with the team in San Jose. Again, this is going to talk about some of those higher level pieces of content. It's also going to focus on the market, but you have the ability to customize it, which is great. And I think at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to make these pieces seem less like they came out of our office and more like they came out of your office, because we want you to fully own and customize the experience, but we don't want you to take the legwork to produce it. So what we're doing is we're producing the content and we're letting you make it your own to really leverage that. We're getting more into it now with the market commentary, another great piece, and then the market perspective, which I was actually extremely impressed with when I saw it the first time, just with the thinking of, okay, we can record audio on PowerPoint, and we'll have Jonathan do that, but we can also let them see the speaker notes and record their own audio. Again, it's making it your own, but it's taking it to that next level by having your actual voice on there. The clients recognize it, the clients know you, and they love to hear from you. And this is one for those clients that may be more in tune with the market movements and how it's affecting their portfolio, and that can really be utilized there. And then 360 Insights. This is one that's somewhat in transition right now. We know that we love the content in it and we love how it flows, but we're looking at ways we can incorporate more and make it available within your client portals. So we actually, this quarter, just added a 2-article 360 Insights type announcement into the client portals for their quarterly commentary. And we would love to hear your feedback on that, because what this is, it's strayed a little bit away from the investments. I mean, we had one article in there a little bit about investments, but the next one was way off what the traditional investment would be. So we're hoping that your clients find enjoyment in that. And again, we're looking for your feedback on how you would like to communicate with your clients in the portal and what best method and type of content we can provide to you in that space. Slide library, this is something that is very, very valuable to our advisors. It's data-driven, but it's also behavioral finance. It's about 100 slides produced by our team and others within the organization that you can pick and choose from to create presentations for your clients when they come in to meet with you. So say you have a client that's very interested in getting in and out of the market. Well, you see the quilt slide up there and how we cannot guess the next winner. And that could be a powerful piece of information that you can share with them. But say you have a client that's maybe like, I don't need to talk about investments. Let's talk a little bit more about how I'm planning for my life, how I'm planning a legacy for my children. We have a lot of that in there as well, so they can pick and choose and create a presentation that really focuses on their specific client's needs. All of these can be customized for you and your firm, and they can be downloaded, and we can send you a link for how to do that. So the last, but definitely not least piece I'm going to talk about is the customized marketing materials. Oh, thank you. That was out. So this is something we have seen firms really find value in that there are so many materials out there that we're producing, but we want a way that we can have you customize them and order them on demand that's seamless. So I think this is the biggest thing we've got out of the partnership with the team in San Jose. Apart from the great people, I love the people, but the fact that we now have access to what we're calling the print shop. And by a raise of hands, how many people have seen the print shop, used the print shop? Great. And I really think we're having great success with it. It's taking out that middleman. It's taking out the ability to find a great printer, to create awesome materials, and to brand them for you and your firm. So what you can do is you can log on to the print shop. You can see the list of materials we have. We just added our books to that as well, because we know our books are very, very important to our advisors and a good marketing material. And you can put your logo on them, you can see how they look, you can print one, you can see if it works, you can print 25, you can print 100, and you can have those ready on demand for your client meetings. So no longer are you looking for a printer or having somebody in your office throw a logo on it and maybe it's not in the right place or maybe it's not the highest resolution. This shop really gives you everything that you need to be able to create those great marketing materials that our incredible design team has made, populated with the content, and we're just allowing you to customize them. So this is one of the amazing things that we've had through the partnership, and I just wanted to share that before we got into questions. So I went through a lot. There's still a lot more to go through. I think we could have spent a whole day just on how we support you on the marketing team. But I did want to open it up to questions because I want to get a feel for how you all are using marketing, what's most important to you, and I see we already have a question.
All right, Larry.
How much of this is ready right now, and what's the timeline for what's not ready right now so it is ready?
So most of it's ready. The print shop's ready to go. All of the newsletters are there. We still need to combine them, but right now we do still have solutions for you in that space. Slide library is good. The only one that I think still needs to get fully developed out is the Advisor Websites partnership. Now we have a partnership with them now, we just don't have that template site created. So you can still engage with Advisor Websites and create a website, and we're happy to be your liaison beyond between that partnership, but that would be the only one, and I think early next year or the end of this year we'll be ready to go with that.
All right, next question.
On the content marketing, we've heard so much that it's so important to have unique, your own voice, rewrite it, that Google and everything wants something different. Can you speak to that as opposed to using where maybe another firm in our area will be using the same content and how to manage that?
Right, that's a good question, and we found that it doesn't always cross-pollinate that same way, but I totally understand where you're coming from, and that's why we try to provide as much guidance in creating your own content We've had a lot of firms within our alliance, our community, create their own content. We feature that on our website, but finding ways that you can come up with, what your niche is, if you're ready to become that writer. And we also have partnerships with freelance writing resources that can help you develop out your ideas should you want to create that on your own. So we like to arm you with a library of content that's ready to go, but once you're ready to really step in there and become a content creator yourself, we have resources that can help you in that space as well.
What's the best way of engaging the marketing department to get this stuff to us and get it useful?
So the best way to engage is to reach out to our email distribution list. It's marcom, M-A-R-C-O-M-M, at bamadvisor.com. And that way, all of us are on that distribution list, so the best person to answer the question will be able to get in touch with you.
I would add too, you can reach out to your RD. And if you have a very specific questions, and they can also set up more of a consultative, if you have a consultative need as well, as just not finding things. That would be a secondary way, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with the more complex questions and services you get.
Yeah, and we communicate, we coordinate a lot with the RDs, so they're very in tune with everything that we're doing, and they can kind of help connect the dots for you as well.
And the RMs too. Let me come down around over here. No questions on this side? Okay, you're next.
If there's content that's being pushed out to the clients directly through their portal, through their logins, is that going to be disclosed to us ahead of time through maybe the advisor news emails or something like that? So there's nothing I hate more than a client saying, hey, I just got this from your site. Can you explain it to me? And I have no idea what they're talking about.
Exactly. So we actually will not push any content to your clients on your behalf. So we always get the final sign off from you to push it. We make it available for you to see what is going into the portal, but at the end of the day, they would need to, our team, our strategy team on the portal side would need to add that content when you request it.
Yeah, our requirement is 100% you know what's going out.
Exactly, right.
That's a requirement, not a goal. That is...
As a new firm, what would be the top 3 action items that you would want, or that would be suggested to take?
So I'm getting this question from somebody who's doing an incredible job marketing her firm. So I think the top 3 action items would be, 1, develop an online presence, because this is where anybody out in the world that doesn't know about you is going to find out about you. 2nd, you're going to want to develop a niche if that's the way you'd like to go. You want to develop those types of clients that you want to communicate with and start to strategize your message that way. And then 3rd would be develop a content marketing plan and how you can communicate with those clients. Maybe it's less than what we talked about, maybe it's more, but just to have an idea of the type of content and the strategy that you want to employ behind that content and how you communicate with your clients, I think is key.
I would also add, again, another one of our goals is to provide you with services content so it's turnkey. We know, how many web developers do we have in the room? We got one up there. So something like a website, make it as turnkey and easy as possible, right? Because we know how valuable that is. So we're also constantly looking for feedback. Our jobs are to service you all and make your outbound marketing easier, turnkey. And we're here to do that and here to answer any of those questions and make it as easy as we can and evolve the service. We're going to rinse and repeat and constantly and improve. Any other questions? Yeah.
I was sent to Young Advisors training at BAM, and we have a full-time, almost full-time marketing person. If I wanted to send them to St. Louis, do you have an educational training seminar for them? Learn everything that you have? Because I don't want to learn it.
We have training programs that kind of cover the entire scope of what we do, but we don't have anything specific to marketing. We have a marketing session within that. So if you want a specific marketing session, I think that we can connect one-on-one and find a time that they can come and just meet with me and the team to kind of go over everything that we do. But if they're just looking for a wide swath of everything we do, I'd say go with Foundations, those training sessions, Foundations 1 and 2.
Well, this is a person who does just marketing. They don't, They don't do investments or anything like that. So you have anything for them, education-wise?
So we have a lot of educational materials, not in the form of like a one-day workshop, but we can definitely look into creating that for interested firms.
I feel like the other fellow. When are you gonna do that?
How about early next year?
All right, Ivan, you said it.
Yeah.
Now we gotta,
Have
okay.
Douglas say- No.
That's
But
a
I
commitment.
think that one-on-one workshop with me or another member of the marketing team, a one-day workshop that covers everything that we do and how we can start to employ those tools will be very helpful for them.
Any other questions? Well, again, I think Ivan did a great job overviewing a pretty comprehensive, yes, give him a good hand, and a great representative of the whole marketing team for you guys. And the last question is, where do you get a gin and tonic around